Just intensity, and the biggest word we've been using is carryover. Doesn't matter how well our practice goes or how, the type of practice we have if we don't carry it over to live action. So that was the biggest thing. So with new coaching staff and a lot of new players, we just got to continue to improve and move forward, but we got to have carryover. If we're going to run a play or we're going to have a specific thing on the defense that we emphasize, it's great if we're doing it in practice, but the key and the reason we're here is to perform in games, so we have to have better carryover. And starts with us holding our guys more accountable. It's them holding each other accountable, and the guys are carrying over what we're emphasizing into the game. So that's really important. But that happens with an inexperienced team, and leadership. Johnny and Justin and Chris, they got to continue with holding our guys accountable as leaders, and they got to take care of their stuff too.
What did you see Saturday that maybe you didn't necessarily see last Thursday?
Just so much better, honestly, Lena. I mean, just everything was better. The more we're out there, the more, especially against other opponents, you just get more comfortable, more confident. You feel better about what we're doing and all that stuff. So we just, you could call them dress rehearsals, scrimmages, exhibitions, whatever. It allows us to get out there and put our uniform on and play. And we had better carryover from Thursday to Saturday. It wasn't even 48 hours, but our intensity was better, our execution was better. We just had guys more locked in to making sure they were doing what they're supposed to in that moment, and it's the right step. Thursday was a slap in the face to let the guys know, like, hey, the other team wants to win too, and we gotta make sure we're taking care of our own business every day, so we're better than we were that Thursday night.
With growing pains or still getting to know you phase, what's one thing that you guys better know that you expect of them, no matter what the tone of the game is?
Play harder. Just always play the hardest, play harder every possession, never take a play off. And part of that is, and I was there as an 18-year-old and 19-year-old, is when some things don't go your way, you can't get rid of that, you can't leave go of that, and it affects the next 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 plays. And we got to be in the moment. I talk about I call it in the now. Like, you got to be in the now. Right now, what does your team need from you? And number one thing is playing as hard as you possibly can at all times. Plus, that's our advantage because I think we have a lot of guys that can play a lot of minutes. And I think that helped us on Saturday at Georgetown is a lot of guys contributed just because we played harder.
Where's the conditioning of the team? I know you guys are going to be up and down all year, and it's early, so are they still getting in shape?
Yeah, exactly. The style of play, as we call it, our style of play is something that you just can't learn, feel that, understand that, just in 18 practices. It takes a time that's who we've got to become, and that's just what we do. But that still takes time, and there's a process to that. But it's still not an excuse not to play hard every possession you're out there, every second you're out there. Play to exhaustion. We do these heart monitors, and you get in the red. That means you're close to exhaustion, and we say you got to run through the red. You got to run through the red until your teammate subs you out. And we had that on Saturday. We had a couple times Thursday, but mainly Saturday. Guys were running through the red, and we had 3 or 4 guys at the table to sub. And I think one of our strengths, a little bit more than I thought, is we're going to be able to play a lot of different combinations. I think that could help us.
So you had them on during the game?
They can't wear them. We had them on in the exhibition and the scrimmage. You can't, once the season starts, we can't wear them in games, but every day in practice. So we know who gets to red quicker than others, who recovers quicker when they do hit the red, and that really helps us.
Coach, I know fans can get kind of hung up on scores in exhibitions, but for you on Friday, what would be a successful exhibition against Virginia Union?
Well, you still want to win we were disappointed the other day that we didn't win, and we better be. Because when the scoreboard's on, we expect to win no matter who we play, and that's just how we're always going to be. That's how it's always been here. We want to win every time we go out, no matter who the opponent is. But it was a slap in the face. Like, you just can't show up because you have VCU on the front of your uniform and you're at home, like it's going to work out the way you want it. It never works out the way you want it. You can't in sports, especially in basketball, what happens if you don't make all your shots? You gonna stop playing, or you gonna allow it to affect other things? And those are all the. That's why you play these games. Especially, this is a great advantage for us, getting an extra exhibition, going to Georgetown to play a team that's really big, much size-wise bigger than us. It was great for us. We threw our young guys in the fire. Now we have another exhibition against a team that's going to come here, and they're 2 blocks away. It's a great old school rivalry, and I think it's great for our guys. But you got to understand, in a game, it never goes the way you plan. We have a scouting report and an execution plan, and it never goes. And no battle plan survives its first attack. That's the history guy I am, but it's just how it goes. And all right, how are you going to respond? And we got, with all this opportunity to learn more about ourselves and how we respond to stuff. That's huge.
Will you have Justin Friday night?
I don't think so. Yeah, he just has a sprained foot that just causing issues for him, and he felt, he practiced a practice and a half going into Liberty, and it was okay, and he felt better about it. He wanted to play. Sort of threw him a bone. Hey, he's a senior. You know how excited he is about playing, and it probably was, though his win wasn't there. We knew that. He played hard, but then he just had some soreness, and why he's a senior in his 4th year here. He knows what he needs to do to get himself ready for the season. There's no reason to make this a prolonging thing, so we want to make sure we're proactive in his rehab and stuff like that. So he's going to practice this week, but probably on and off to see how that goes. He has new orthotics, and if you ever had orthotics, it takes a little bit of time to get used to them. So he's dealing with that a little bit too as well. But he should. We'll see. I will see. I think right now we're going to say no, but if he's in uniform, don't say that I was lying to you guys. So we'll see.
Is the depth of the bench starting to come into more focus with who you can rely on coming out?
Yeah, and that's been a pleasant surprise with some preseason injuries and some guys out. Some guys have gotten a lot of good reps in practice, and one thing as a staff we're trying to figure out is combinations, because with that now. Mikkel Sims has done a really good job, and Isaac Van, when we go small, of playing that 4th guard position, and that's been an advantage for us. It helped us the other day, Saturday at Georgetown. So we're learning all that stuff, and just we got some young guys like Tyler Mays. He's a freshman trying to figure it out, but when we put him out there, he makes some plays. So those guys are going to continue to get better, but we got to make sure we don't forget them right now in combinations and all that stuff. So it's big emphasis going into this week of making sure we're getting guys in the proper spots and getting their reps.
Can you tell us more about the Georgetown scrimmage? I don't think most of us weren't there.
Yeah, you're not allowed to be there, and I can't tell you a lot, but I just thought, going on the road with our team, let's focus in on controlling what we could control, and I thought our young guys played better than they did Thursday. I thought they gave us good minutes. Sean Mobley, of course, played, and that was really good for him to get out there. He did some nice things, and he's gonna help us. Another big guy, but he's versatile where he can step out and shoot it, and he's a very good passer, and it just helps us. And I think he does a really good job in the press because he really can anticipate stuff. I thought Chris Lane was so fired up Thursday to play his first home game at VCU, and I told Chris it never goes the way you plan, man. But he really responded, on Saturday morning of doing some really good things. And, I thought we executed better on the offensive end, and we still got to get better and better in defense. But I thought we pressed better, and that really gave our guys a lot of confidence going into this week.
So you felt a lot better after Saturday than you did after Thursday?
You never feel a lot better, because when you watch the tape, unfortunately, you don't get as excited about the good plays as you get mad or you lock in on the bad plays or the things you have to improve. So, but it was much better. I thought our approach was much better than anything. And I think look, I'm not happy with the result on Thursday. No way. But I absolutely love it that we got slapped in the face, and I've said that before, that the reality is the other team wants to win just as bad as you guys do. So how are you going to set yourself apart? And that's got to be with our approach. That's the way we got to face the game and face the adversity of the game. And that's an experience right now that we got to get better at. But, we've all been, if you play sports long enough, you've been put in those situations. The only good thing for us is it didn't count zero record-wise. We're still 0-0. Now it counts about who, and we will never forget that. We'll remember that we don't want to ever be back in that position again. So we got to get better.
Coach, you mentioned half-court defense was an area you were lacking on Thursday. And what area do you think you were really lacking in that?
Just, I think the overall awareness of where we need to be, depending where the ball's at and what your teammate's doing. I thought we got caught watching the ball too much instead of being in the right position. We got to do a better job defending the rim. If that means rotating or that means getting in the way of a guy driving the rim or guarding the basketball, just overall not letting the defense have easy looks. We'll get better at that just through experience. And I think we'll do with our half-court scheme. We'll just improve upon that. There's some really good offensive teams. Liberty was one of them. Georgetown was totally different than Liberty, but ran really good offense. We just got to get better at it, without a doubt. But that comes with experience and really harping on it every day in practice of getting better.
They broke Liberty broke your press early in the game easily, and then later they did. Did you change the press?
No, we were more intense. No, we were more intense. We were on our heels to start the game in the press, which should be the other way. And we didn't. Our intensity of the press, it was like we want to press without making mistakes. And if you have that mindset, you can't press. The biggest thing to me is all-out pressing. And when you do make mistakes, all-out effort to recover. It can't be, well, I'm not sure we want to press. It's so ineffective. And that allows guys to dribble the ball up the court where they want to go. The whole part of pressing is dictating where you want the ball to go, not allowing the offense to dictate where the ball goes. Now, Saturday we pressed the whole game, and it was so much more intense, and we did a really good job of forcing turnovers and making them uncomfortable. So, and the guys saw it. And you talking to Johnny yesterday, they were like, man, it was night and day. He's like, man, we all know like how we can press. And that's why that's this time of the year of figuring that out.
You mentioned the importance, of course, of the leadership of Jonathan Williams, Justin Tillman, and Chris Lang. What ways have you maybe seen that kind of manifest itself coming off these last couple of exhibitions, having things you want to improve on?
Well, the number one thing of leadership is taking care of your own stuff. So, I was all over Johnny about taking care of what he needs to take care of. But now, while you're doing that, making sure his teammates are taking care of their stuff too. And that's just all out communication. And the best way to help your leader become a better leader is you show him how to lead as a coach with your voice in practice by telling him things to do with his teammates. I got to do a better job with those guys, Justin, Chris, and Johnny, of telling them how to. They don't know what they don't know, so we got to make sure we're helping them. Johnny's done a good job of that. It's hard to play this style and talk to your teammates at a high level and make sure these young guys are in the right place. But that's the expectation we have of him as a senior point guard. And these other guys before him, they had to learn it too, and he'll learn it. He'll learn it because he wants to.
Have you ever, college coaching, ever seen a player pick up 4 fouls in 72 seconds?
Yeah, big freshmen that are trying to figure it out. Yeah, I called it though. I called it. He's such a physical kid. He's just got to learn now to play that hard and physical without fouling. You don't get a foul outside the three-point arc when you're a big guy. You get him around the rim. You get him fighting through a screen or a square up or trying to take a charge or going for a block. You don't get him on the other end. You don't get him outside the three on maybe a ball screen defense or guys running down the court. And you just get in his way and jack him. Like those are things you're just going to learn. But I called it. There's one reason why I like him so much. He plays so hard and he plays so physical. And any coach wants a big man like that. But now in basketball, you got to have a balance, and we're learning every day on that balance.
Is he the kind of player that you can kind of make light of that, or you will be able to someday, where you say, okay, you know, hey, now
Yeah.
you know, and here's where we go from
Yeah,
there.
I mean, some guys you learn through failure more than you learn from lecturing or repetition. So, you know, he's learning a little bit right now through failure. He'd be on the court more if he didn't have more fouls. That's bothering him now. He did a good job at Georgetown of playing so hard. He made some really nice plays and didn't get in foul trouble. So it will come, but you know, I always say freshmen always learn the hard way. I did. I did. You think you know it all, and then you get 4 fouls in 72 minutes, or 3 fouls in your first 2 minutes in the first half, and you have to sit and you're mad. Sometimes you got to learn the hard way. It's the best teacher.
Do you have any idea how deep your rotation is going to go this year?
10, 11. Yeah, I mean, you know, that's right now. I think different guys can help us different games. I think different combinations could be better than other combinations depending on who we're playing. So every day in practice, we do this segment where it's like an offensive coordinator calls out the 5 guys he wants out there for what we want to do, and it's all these different combinations, and I like that. That's a good thing. We just got to make sure our guys, because they're playing multiple positions, that the versatility is a strength of ours, but we got to make sure we know what we're doing, and that's the key.
It's easy to hear about the downside of having so many new players. What's the best thing about having so many new players?
Because they're always going to get better. I mean, the Sean Mobley that we got in June is so much better that we have here October 31st. The Tyler May, man, Tyler May didn't say a word when he showed up here in June. Now he's calling plays out and he's talking to his teammates. Like, that's just a better version of Tyler May. Marcus Santos Silva lost 35 pounds since he got here in June, and he's a better player, and he plays with such a high motor. He didn't have that motor in June. Like, that's awesome. Now, when you throw them out there and they have to guard a junior and 3 seniors, it's a little different. But we've all been there. Those juniors and seniors have been there before. You know, the greatest example at VCU I can say to people that know our program is Melvin Johnson. Melvin Johnson, when he got here, he thought he knew it all, and he didn't want to take any coaching. He just wanted to shoot the ball, and he wanted to go ball. And I would pull him on the side as the assistant, and we worked on getting through screens and how to fight through screens, how to get through a ball screen, how to guard the ball, and he wanted no part of it, and he didn't like me at all. He hated me. And he thought I didn't like him or I was picking on him. It was, no, you're going to help us right now, but you got to get so much better in this aspect, just like our new guys now. Well, when Melvin started seeing more success on the court and the defense was working and his offense kept improving because he can spend time on that as well because he was learning the defense, he just kept getting better and better and better. And that's what you got to do. It's a process, and I tell our guys all the time, the process is never the speed you want it, but it's the process. And if you honor the process, you're going to figure it out. And some days, like for a 2-week stretch, Marcus Santos Silva had a 2-week stretch for a freshman that was unbelievable. And it led into the black and gold scrimmage, and you guys saw he was very efficient. He played very well. And then for about a 7-day period after that, things weren't going his way. It's part of the process, man. Yeah, all right, Marcus, what are you going to – and he was fighting it. And all right, you got to keep learning. You got to keep working. You're not in a great place right now. Let's keep going. Much better this weekend. So that's just how it is with inexperienced guys, that you got to keep chipping away at the process and honor it and just keep going, keep being coachable, and you're gonna improve and you're gonna impact the team and you're gonna help winning. I think that's huge. My first year at Randolph-Macon, we had 12 freshmen. I was 25. You would talk about inexperience in the process. And, you know, as the year went on, we got better and won games. That to me is that's why I talk about the process. The process is never on your time. It's just the process. What was your record? Coach Nunley said, if you win 6 games, be happy. 13-12, I think we were. Next year we won 16, and then those freshmen won 26 and 28. We're number one in the country 2 years in a row. But it's a process, and the process is different for every individual. It's different for every team. But I was 25, and I'm like, oh, man. Like, it was a process for me, too. It always is. But that's what we learned, and I talked to God, hey, it's going to happen. We can't tell you when, but if you just keep doing things the right way, you stay coachable, you work really hard, it's going to eventually happen. And some days are tougher than others. And, Thursday night was a tough day for our new guys for their process. But that's part of the process, and you just got to keep going.
How much have Dariante and Malik grown since their freshman year, and how do they factor into the combination?
Well, I wasn't here as freshman, but I could tell you since I got here in the end of March, big time, both of them. We spent a lot of time together off the court. I think for Dariante, it was a tough freshman year because he missed, I think, 15 or 16 games with a broken foot. I'm sure he had all these expectations. Now, from a broken foot, you can't just show up and it's going to work. So I think it was a tougher year for him than his expectations. When I told him, I said, the biggest thing when I got here is you're going to love how we play. I mean, for a guy that can shoot and score, make plays, you're going to love how we play. But there's so much other things that you need to do to get better. The number one thing is he's got to build his body and get stronger, and he's working on it. The other thing is I said, you got to play defense at a higher level than you are right now. I said, offense, we'll take care of it. His attitude's awesome. He's fun to coach, and he's buying into me. He's buying into us, and he's been a lot of fun. Malik wasn't sure when we got here. New coaches, and he wasn't sure. And he's done a great job, especially when he came back after his May break after exams. What I need to do, coach, and he's been a huge surprise. But I felt he was always a good player. He might have maybe one of the best basketball IQs on our team, and that really helps us with a lot of inexperienced guys. And he's been playing a lot of minutes in the scrimmage and the exhibition because we can really count on him on both ends of the floor. And he's getting more confident as we go along. So I'm excited for both of those guys, without a doubt. And, they've given themselves to us, which is the first thing you do to really improve.
Anything else, guys? Thank you, Coach. What's in the candy dish tonight? What is household?
I carved pumpkins last night. I put the picture on Twitter. That was interesting. And then we got lots. My wife loves Halloween. It might be her favorite holiday. So we're gonna go to an old school tradition. We're gonna go up to Ashland tonight with all their old friends, and that's an unbelievable town to do trick or treating. It's really cool. And so I'll meet them on the back end. So my trick or treating days are getting close to being done. But I will eat the candy, without a doubt. Yeah, they closed down a lot of the streets, and everybody opens their house. And I mean, you could get not bags of candy, but boxes of candy. I mean, it's crazy, but it's safe. It's really safe up and down the tracks, and then around Randolph-Macon's campus. And so, Coach Hedrick, the baseball coach, his daughter and my daughter are best friends since they were newborns. And so we've always had this tradition. Coach Davis, when he was at Randolph-Macon, we cooked hot dogs and burgers at my house before we went trick-or-treating when I was in Ashland. And we just went there, and we ended up at Hedrick's. So now we'll start at someone else's house and end up at Coach Hedrick's house. So I'll get there I'll catch up with everybody. That's my plan.